Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, this is going to be a big video for a lot of people that are trying to push now for faction wars or are in like the early to mid game and are struggling for resources to 6-star their champions. We're going to run through 20 epics, which I believe you can run as 5-star champions and still do a ton of work. There's actually a couple of other extras I'm going to throw in, which are a little bit more like an anomaly, but we're going to go into that as well. So before we talk about who they are, I just want to talk to you about the rules. Like, what makes me think that some of these champions can be run without being 6-starred, and what do I think about when I'm deciding, should I 6-star a champion, like on my free-to-play account? So the first thing I ask myself is, do I need that champion for my clan boss team? If I do, and I want to survive a long amount of time, then pretty much they need to be a 6-star. Because War Master, Tier 6 Mastery War Master, gives you a massive hit, which enables things like Lifesteal Gear to heal you to full. So if they're in your clan boss team, chances are you need them to be a 6-star. Second thing, kind of touched on the same sort of thing. Do I need them to have a Tier 6 Mastery? So do I need War Master? Do I need Giant Slayer? Do I need Helm Smasher? Etc, etc. Do they need the Tier 6 Mastery? If they do, they need to be 6-starred. Next thing is, do I need a banner on my champion? So some of your speed champions, you might argue, need a banner for them to be functional. Depends where you are in the game. On my free-to-play account, I do not run a banner on my speed lead. I do not run a banner on my decreased defense champion because I can get enough accuracy through the gear to get them through it. So a big question is, do they need the banner? If they do, what type of banner do they need? And do you have it? If you don't have the banner, then don't 6-star them yet because you're just wasting resources. Next thing, are they one of your damage dealers? Now you gain a lot of stats from moving from 5-star to 6-star. For a damage dealer, pretty much, and when I talk about damage dealer here, I'm talking about, are they your arena nuker? Are they someone who's coming in there to land big numbers on the enemy? If they are, they need to be 6-starred. And then the last thing which I focus on is, are they going to feature in multiple teams for you? So if you've got someone who's literally just going to be faction wars and that so far all the answers are no, then chances are they only need to be a 50. But if you're going to be running them in your Fire Knight team, your Spider team, your Clan Boss team, multiple teams, then you may as well invest your time and resources to 6-star them. So if we've got a bunch of no's so far, and these champions I think are going to be no's, then we're in business and we can actually get somewhere with a level 50 champion. So what I'm going to do first, before I go through the kind of list, I've got 20 odd on the list, I'm going to show you an example of a champion which is not a yes to all of those questions that I just asked and can be run as a 50. So Hope is on my list. Hope recently buffed. She's now improved. I've got her as level 50. I've got her ascended. This is the type of build you need to do if you're going to be running a level 50 champion. Okay? You're going to need a high amount of HP. You're going to still need to get yourself a decent level of speed. If you have got some form of debuff to land or some form of ability that requires accuracy, you've still got to get your accuracy up. So if you cannot do those things without a banner, you need to 6-star your champion. But for someone like Hope here, I've got her in a shield set. I've got her in 2-piece accuracy to get my accuracy up. I've got speed running through my gear. I don't have any masteries really. I've got like a couple of books, that doesn't matter. But she can be run in my faction war team as a level 50, which I'm just going to demonstrate here because it's the right day for her to come in. And as long as you get that HP level up, you can actually still run her in your level 50 stuff. I mean, obviously I've got a really strong team here to support her. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in a weaker team here so that we don't just nuke through everything so fast. Let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. I don't know, something like this. So yeah, basically she's the only level 50 in this team. So if you see here, what we got, nobody will focus her just because of her affinity. So anyone here is basically, anyone that targets her is targeting selecting her because she's a level 50. That would be the only reason right now. So we can put shields up, increase buffs as well. All of that obviously still works. Get my team getting their decreased defense out. Let's just focus any on one, doesn't matter. Hopefully we get someone who just does some attack on us. That's an AoE attack, so we can't stop that anyway. See, right, so damage is coming in on her best. It's not coming in on our hope. Even though she's level 50, doesn't matter. They're looking for champions that have got a lower HP level. So the rest of it is all fine. So as a level 50, as long as you get them to a high enough level of HP, they can still get all of their utility away. I see they've got all their buffs out now. Hopefully we can get a chance to try and remove those. Here we go. Can we remove their buffs? And we do. We've got enough accuracy to do it. Being level 50 makes no difference. So as long as your builds work for the situation you're in, then you can do everything you can do as a level 60, as a 50. The only thing that you struggle with that type of champion is, do you get your build strong enough to keep them alive? Okay, so I'm going to run through now the champions that I believe you can keep as a level 50 in the same manner as I've just shown you there, that will help you with stuff like faction wars, will help you with dungeon running, and potentially help you in places like the arena as well. Okay then, so first one up is going to be a demon spawn champion. First one up is Azure. Azure is literally just basically in this game, in my opinion, for faction wars and fire knights. She has got an A1 which decreases turn meter every time she hits with it if it's a crit. So in terms of what do you need to do to get her to do this ability, she needs crit rate, she needs accuracy. Other than that, all you need to do is get her speed up and get her HP up. So 4 stats you need to build. If you, it's one of the tougher ones on my list actually because she needs 4 stats. But if you can achieve 4 stats with her build without needing to make her a 60, then she is absolutely fine as a 50. Next one up is going to be an undead champion. Some of these are going to be controversial. I know some of you are going to comment below. Dordrab is absolutely fine as a level 50. Everything he does in his kit is fine as a 50. I think you might gain some speed moving from 50 to 60. And again, you need to decide where he sits in your team. But because his kit is basically about speed in allies, increase in attack, you don't need much in terms of stats for this. Reviving dead people. All you need to do is to get his defense high, get his speed high, and that's it. That's all you need in terms of stats. Get his HP up a bit as well so he's not the target, but he can run all of his abilities as a level 50 absolutely perfectly. Doesn't even really need a banner. The only thing you might want to do in terms of getting him to a 60 is if he's going to be your speed booster for the arena, then a banner will give you some more speed potentially. But for me, Dordrab, absolutely fine as a level 50. Next one then, actually something I've just shown you, is Cardinal. Cardinal is fantastic as a 50. She does all of her abilities again. You don't care about this poison. It's not a necessary part of her kit. All of her abilities work as a 50. Just make sure you make her fast and tanky. Fast and tanky, that's all you need to do. She will survive as a 50 and she'll just keep resurrecting your damage dealers. Obviously in the same faction, I've just shown you Hope. Hope is in the same bracket as that. She does need accuracy, she does need speed, and she needs HP. If you can get all of those stats into her build, even as a max 60, she's only got a weak defense anyway, so it's not even worth focusing on. Get her to 50, all of her kit still works, and actually she'll be a good 50 for you for faction wars. Next one up then is going to be Broadmoor, another fantastic faction war champion. Broadmoor, he's got a freeze on his A1. It's not really an important part of his kit. This is increased crit rate and increased speed. And this is what he's all about. Reviving 2 dead people with health and block damage. He is a fantastic champion for faction wars. That's pretty much the only place I would use him. But you can get him to 50. It will do the same job as when he's at 60. You've just got to keep his HP level high and his speed running fast. Good champion for faction wars. Next one is actually another one in Sacred Order. Mistress of Hymns, another good champion for faction wars. She's got some healing going on. This doesn't require anything other than her to go. She's got heals here. Again, doesn't need anything in terms of stats. And she's got a revive here as well. Doesn't need anything in terms of stats. So a good solid support champion. Get a speed high, get her HP level high. That's all you need, and keep her alive. She is fine as a 50. Next one up is an interesting champion, actually. So Touched Shaman. Touched, she's got some damage here, but you don't really worry about the damage. She does heal by 15% of the damage she inflicts on if this champion's got less than 50% HP. So that's, I guess as a damage dealer, she kind of comes into the damage dealer camp. A level 60 would benefit her, but it's not necessary. She still does block debuffs, revive on death as a 50, and she'll still do the same thing in terms of the heal on her passive as well. So everything about her kit still works as a 50. Make her fast, give her high HP, and give her good defense, and she'll do everything you want her to do as a level 50. Someone else in this camp, is it this camp? Yeah, Hikatoon. Hikatoon, one of your free champions. I run her as a 50 on my free-to-play. She's in all of my dungeon teams. She's in my arena team, and she does work. The only thing you'll benefit from a 60 is she will get another 7 speed, which is not insignificant, and she will get a banner where you get more speed. So eventually through the game, you probably will 60 her, but she'll run absolutely fine. Faction Wars, Dungeons, Arena as a 50 whilst you're waiting for those extra resources to get her to 60. Okay, let's move into the next one, and he is in the Bannerlords. So relatively new champion popping up in the meta here. Azure. Azure's had a buff and actually is pretty decent now. Okay base defense, okay base speed, good base HP. Ally protection and shield work exactly the same as a 50 as they do as a 60. You'll just have slightly more stats to do that buff. And his stun mechanic is reliant on accuracy. So a similar build to what you just seen on my Hope would be the sort of build you'd do on this Azure. And he will work absolutely perfectly as a 50 for you. Don't need to take him to 60. And I wouldn't take this guy to 60. I think he's only really strong in Faction Wars. Maybe a little bit in Clan Boss if you're struggling for champs. But for me, he's a Faction War champion and well worth a 50 for that. Okay, let's move on to Demon Spawn for the next one. Now, again, this might be controversial, but I think Nazana, another HP-based champion, she can work absolutely fine as a 50. She has got ally protection and shield. She has got decrease attack here as an AoE and an AoE hit here. She doesn't really hit that hard anyway unless you properly build her to do damage, which you wouldn't do. You build her as a tank, you build her fast, you give her some accuracy to land her moves, and she will work perfectly as a 50 in your Faction War teams. Even in your dungeon teams, actually, exactly the same. Let's go on to the next one then. Not this faction. Oh yeah, it's this faction. Jizo. So Jizo, freebie at the start. He's actually a pretty good Faction War champion. He's also kind of nichey good in a couple of the dungeons. Can actually be good in Clan Boss as well, but I wouldn't run him as a 50 in Clan Boss. He's got a shield and counter attack. He's got provoke, and he's got just a hit here on his A1. He's defense based. As a 50, he's still fairly strong, fairly tanky. I wouldn't take him up to 60. I don't think he's good enough. But as 50 for a Faction War champion or for a dungeon support champion, he can do some work. Okay, let's move on to the next one. And that is going to be Lordly Legionary, another free champion. I mean, this guy, basically, I would 50 for like a Fire Knight champion. So even at full damage, he doesn't hit that hard. I wouldn't worry about building him for damage. I would build him with good enough accuracy to land decreased speed and decreased turn meter. And then I'd make him tanky enough to just stay alive. So HP, defense, speed, some accuracy in his build. Reflect damage works the same whether he's level 1 or whether he's level 60. Continuous heals will come out the same. And decreased speed and decreased turn meter will work as long as he's got enough accuracy. That's really what you want from him. Makes him a good Fire Knight champion. It makes him a good champion against Faction War bosses as well. So he's worth a 50. I don't know if he's really worth a 60. Let's move on to the next one. So we've got a Dark Elf here. There she is. Captain Amelia. So Captain Amelia, again, a support-based champion. You're seeing a theme, guys. These are support-based champions, right? We've got heal on his A1, her A1, sorry. Increased defense on all allies. Doesn't change if she's a 60 or a 50. And ally protection. The only thing you need to be aware of here is that she does need to have a good amount of defense and a good amount of HP to sustain the damage she takes from this. But speed, HP, defense, she'll be absolutely fine as a level 50. Next one is going to be a Knight Revenant. So this is Golden Reaper. Now, Golden Reaper, some people might argue she should be a 60. Basically, A1 doesn't require any sort of stats at all. A2 does need accuracy to land it, and I'd suggest you do put accuracy on a build to make this work. Speed buff is a speed buff, whether she's a 50 or a 60. Just need to give her enough HP and defense to survive, and then pump her speed up. 50 is fine for this champion. Accuracy as well, if you want to get that decreased attack off. Let's go on to the next one then. Another very good champion here, who I run mine as a 60, and he's actually insanely strong. Insanely strong. But if you're just going to run him for Faction Wars, he's fine as a 50. Kind of similar to that Hope build we just looked at. You're going to want to do accuracy to land his freeze and to land his decreased attack. You're going to want enough speed to cycle through those abilities. And you just want HP and defense to keep him alive. But he's a fantastic Faction War champion. One of the best in this faction. And can be run as a 50 very comfortably. Another one from this faction actually, Stag Knight. I would suggest to 6-star a Stag Knight because he's so viable in so much content in the game. But if you are short on resources and you're trying to get someone that can run dungeons, run Faction Wars as a 50, Stag Knight's your man. Good base stats, just need accuracy, speed, and some defensive stats to get everything of his kit away. He's not a damage dealer, doesn't matter about his attack. Just build accuracy, speed, defensive stats. He'll do his job. He'll stay alive. You can run him as a 50. He is one of the ones that I'd recommend take to 60 if you can afford the resources. Next one up then is someone who doesn't see enough love and is actually a really good champion in the game. Zelatar. He does have sleeps. So accuracy for the sleeps is helpful, especially for Faction Wars. But things like his shield buff, it's all scaling off of his HP. So building with HP chest, HP gloves, speed boots, HP jewelry items, and this heal will come out nice. And the continuous heal doesn't scale off anything. You want some accuracy to land the sleeps, but otherwise it's speed, HP, and accuracy. Next one up then is going to be a dwarf. And this is my old boy Grizzled. Grizzled, and really, I mean, you could throw Rearguard Sergeant in the same bracket. They're very similar champions. You can get block debuffs, increased defense away without being a level 60. Decreased attack will need some accuracy, but he's a defensive champion. He's got good stats. As a 50, you'll still keep him alive. I run mine as a 50 for level 20 Faction Wars. No problem at all. And then the last couple which I want to talk about is actually a kind of different style of build. So if you are running an unkillable team for Clan Boss, people like your Occult Brawler, Poisoner, can be run as a 50. Just make sure you've got enough accuracy to get his poisons away. That's it. The right speed for your unkillable setup and enough accuracy to land poisons. Doesn't need any other stats. He will do his damage that way. Same sort of thing if you're running an unkillable team with Warcaster, who is, I believe, a Bannerlord. Can be run as a 50. Absolutely fine. His abilities run exactly the same as a 50 as they do as a 60. So absolutely fine to run him as a 50 for an unkillable team. Similarly with my old boy Maneater. Absolutely fine as a level 50, or even as a 40 actually, if you're trying to run him for an unkillable team. You can run him as a 50 for Faction Wars as well. So I would suggest a 50 is absolutely fine for him. He does need accuracy for Faction Wars if you're going to land all his kits. But if you're running him just for an unkillable team in Clan Boss, doesn't need any accuracy, just needs to be the right speed and enough stats to keep him alive for those first couple of hits. And then lastly, it's actually not an epic, the only one not an epic on the list for this video, but it kind of falls in the same category. Painkeeper for Clan Boss as an unkillable team, doesn't need to be a 60, can be run as a 50. as long as you can get enough stats together without the banner. So guys, I feel like I've talked a lot in a really short space of time there, but that is my guide on when you can get away with not running a 60 and the champions that kind of fall into that bracket. There'll be others as well. Pretty much it falls down to, are they a support-based champ? And can you get away with getting the right amount of stats to keep them alive and get their jobs done when they're still a 50? So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I've been Hell Hades. I'll catch you later.